Hello and welcome to the fourth edition of Georgetown's Most Wanted. We usually do this on Fridays. However, last Friday I was at the state tournament watching one of our past people on here, Lance Sininger, competing at the state golf finals. So it was a good reason to have to skip. Today we're going to sit down with senior striker on the soccer team, or sorry, not striker, midfielder on the soccer team, Emerson Cahall. Emerson's also a guard on the boys basketball team. Emerson runs cross country, Emerson runs track. Emerson does a little bit of everything. We're going to talk to him about all those things today. Emerson, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
We'll get right into asking Emerson the tough questions that his peers have created for him. Emerson, who's your biggest inspiration, not only in soccer, but in life in general?
Jesus Christ. I just want to live like Jesus did, because I want to go to heaven one day. That's basically the short answer for that.
Good.
I think if I had to choose someone more recent, I'd probably say Travis Mannion. So he graduated from the Naval Academy and he was killed in combat in Fallujah. And something he used to live by was a saying, "If not me, then who?" And so I really like that and want my life to reflect that saying, "If not me, then who?"
How about in soccer? Who do you look up to in soccer?
In soccer, I probably look up to Coach Grant, because he's just so motivating in practice, and he likes to get in practice with us, and he's pretty intense, so he kind of makes me want to do better.
He's pretty intense just watching on the sideline, so I can imagine when he gets out there and plays, it's the same. What do you plan to do after high school? You got the sweatshirt on that kind of explains what I already know, but tell the people for us what you plan on doing after high school.
So I'm applying to the Naval Academy, and so if I get a letter of appointment there, I want to attend the Naval Academy for 4 years, and then when I graduate, hopefully I get to start training for BUDS, which is SEAL training, and then eventually be a Navy SEAL.
Okay, that's no short answer there. High expectations when you join that group. And,
it's going to be pretty tough, but I'm ready.
But from what I know of Emerson will be a good fit into that category. What are some of the other activities that you like to do outside of school and outside of soccer?
Well, we talked about the sports at the beginning of the interview, but I also like to play piano, and I like to play guitar pretty badly. Not very good at it, but it's still fun, and I actually like to read a lot. I know a lot of people don't, but I read for pleasure.
I wish I would have started earlier. I enjoy reading to this point. What kind of books do you like to read? Do you like fiction, nonfiction?
A little bit of both, but I think there's a common theme in the books that I like to read, which is they're kind of relating to either leadership, or they might, let's say, for example, I'm reading right now a book called Gates of Fire, which is about the Battle of Thermopylae, where the 300 Spartans held strong against the Persian army. And so I think there's really the leadership or a kind of militant theme in all the books I like to read.
I enjoy reading self-help books, leadership books, things that help me in the things that I'm passionate about. I love coaching and I love sports, and so anything that's going to help me. If it's fiction, show me a movie. I don't want to take the time to read the book. If it's fiction, I'll watch the movie, and that's entertaining. I don't want to spend all that time reading a book that's not going to help me in some manner. Now, some people love fiction, but for me and my money, it sounds like we kind of like reading the same type of thing.
I agree with that.
Why'd you choose soccer? You kind of chose everything. I said you play all the sports. You didn't really choose soccer, but what? It's soccer season now. Why do you love soccer? Why did you fall in love with soccer?
I think I liked it a lot because it was a lot of running, and I know a lot of people hate running, but I liked it because you were moving pretty much the whole time, and also because I never really had the opportunity to try other sports, say like football, or I think lacrosse is another fall sport. Like, we never had that around here, so soccer was partly, I liked running, I liked that you were active a whole lot, and then also I didn't have too many other options.
he likes to run. I'm one of those people that don't. I don't mind running in basketball and soccer with the ball. But the one that I have a lot of admiration for you guys doing is cross country, because anytime I start running and I get bored, my head starts saying, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
So it takes a special person to be able to do those kind of things. What do you aspire to be? You told us kind of already with the Navy, but professionally and personally, as you get older, what do you aspire to be?
Actually, I don't know if this is like a weird thing for a high school senior to say, but I really want to be a father one day, and a good one at that. Because growing up, we've had I feel like I've had a good father and a good parents, and then also his father was, I've seen very active in his life, and he really loved his father-in-law. So I guess I just want to be that too.
Sure, and I can tell you as a new father that they take up a lot of time. So you have to really aspire to be that. You have to really aspire and have enough patience. And I have a 1-month-old right now, and she cries in the middle of the night after I've been to your guys' soccer game for 3 hours. It takes a lot of patience. So it is something you have to work at, and it's something that you have to plan ahead. It's not a weird thing for a senior to say. I mean, hopefully you're not in a hurry to do it.
No.
But it's something that if you plan ahead, that it's just like anything else, where you can pick up the good things, throw away the bad things, and then when it happens, you're ready to do it. So that's really respectable of you. Professionally, you want to join the Navy. What about after the Navy? Do you want to be a lifetime naval officer?
I think a lot about being a career officer in the Navy, but say I don't. Let's say I retire early, maybe after 5 years. Well, I don't retire. You don't retire after 5 years. But say I'm out of the Navy after 5 years, or shorter than making a career out of it. I'm pretty interested in possibly being an engineer for like Lockheed Martin or maybe SpaceX, depending on what doors open and close for me down the road. But it's something big and very, very engineer heavy.
With all the sports that you play, you ever think about coaching?
I mean, maybe way down the line when things are pretty settled out and I'm not really going to be moving anywhere, and I have a lot of time. But yeah, I do.
How's the soccer season going? We're at the end of it here, but you guys just had a big win the other night.
Yeah,
how's it going?
All things considered, I think it's gone really well, because the team as a whole really has struggled with injury, with people being sick all year, more so than other years that I've played. But we only have 4 losses, which is the same as last year when we were healthy and we had a few guys that had graduated that were pretty good, like Luke and Logan. And then we won our tournament game yesterday, which is huge because we haven't won a tournament game in the 4 years that I've actually played high school soccer.
So who did you beat the other night?
Deer Park, and they were pretty mouthy. They did not like us, and we did not like them. But we got the better of them after 2 overtimes and 2 rounds of PKs.
Yeah, I'm not a soccer person, so it was all brand new for me. So as they were going on, I was asking lots of questions about what's next. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy, though, that somebody won. I think you guys have 2 ties on the season. I've never been a tie person. I don't understand the tie.
It's not. We don't like it as much as the next guy, but it's just a part of our sport that I guess we've accepted.
Aside from soccer, what other sports do you enjoy watching, participating in? I named off the ones that you play, but you can bring those up and tell about how passionate maybe you are in those, but also are there other sports that we don't carry here that you enjoy watching and just enjoy?
Football, actually. I mean, I think most, red-blooded Americans like watching football, but so football is a big one, and when it's on, I like to watch rugby because I just think those guys are crazy, and it's almost like, I don't know, like going to the zoo. Like that's kind of the same. Not that those guys are zoo animals, though they are a lot bigger than most people. It's just kind of taboo, like because we don't have it really in the United States, and those guys just hit each other with no pads. It's just relentless. I don't know. I think it's cool.
I used to teach a class called History of Sport when I was a regular teacher, and it was probably my most enjoyable class. I got to create the lessons and everything from scratch because it was a brand new class that they allowed me to create. But one of the things that we talked about in that class was rugby it's football. It is football. Rugby was there before our football was there. And the only difference between rugby and football is a line of scrimmage and the forward pass. Yeah. And in our American football, they wear pads. In rugby, they don't. But it's really football that was created before the football that we know. And you said red-blooded Americans. Are there Americans that don't have red blood?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So everybody loves football.
Most people should love to watch football.
Who is your favorite professional soccer team player? Why?
Oh my gosh. I like, okay, my favorite team. All right. My favorite player is Dele Alli. He plays on Tottenham. I like Tottenham because Dele Alli plays for them. There's no other reason. And I came across him watching the World Cup, and I like him for two reasons. Because he does this when he scores a goal. I think you guys saw a bunch of people doing that around school. And then because his name is spelled kind of cool, so it's D-E-L-E, but you say Dele Alli, and there's just no rhyme or reason for it.
Okay. So, next question: what is something that most people don't know about Emerson Cahall?
Oh.
Or Cahall? Or Cahall?
Yeah.
Besides, they don't get your name right.
I don't know. Maybe that I didn't always live in Georgetown. So I lived in Columbus until I was 4 years old. And I don't really remember much about it, but I don't know if a whole lot of people.
What brought you to Georgetown?
I think my dad's job. I think he just started working for Cahall Brothers, and that's when we moved back.
But Cahall's a Georgetown name, right?
Yeah, and so he grew up here.
Okay.
And
what took them to Columbus?
I think my parents moved to Columbus when they graduated from college, from Moorhead. They worked at Lifetime Fitness for a while, and then my dad worked at some banks. And I guess, I don't really know the details. I guess I should ask about them, but job opened up because they were expanding. Cahall Brothers here in Georgetown, well, here locally, they expanded to Amelia and Flemingsburg. And so my dad could take a job there, and so he took it. That was pretty much the end of that story.
So that's the reason you came to Georgetown?
Yeah. Could have went to school in Columbus.
All right, last question. These questions, by the way, are created by students for students, and this one was kind of funny and made me laugh. It's a series of questions about your preference on how you use words, so on and so forth. Pop or soda?
Pop.
Why?
No reason. Just what comes out first when I see something, yeah.
Dinner or supper?
It depends, because sometimes I think about it and I'm like, what's for supper? Because some people, like some older people call lunch dinner. So I have to think about it and say supper for them, but I think most times I just say dinner.
I say supper. It was brought on by my grandparents, I guess, so that whole older thing, I guess, makes sense. But I use supper a lot. Kids kind of make fun of me for that. Sucker or lollipop?
Definitely sucker.
Sucker.
Because lollipops are like bigger, and I never eat those.
Yeah, well, a lot of people call a sucker a lot. Those words are interchangeable for them.
Not for me. Nope.
All right, and last one, left or right Twix?
Left, every day.
Left every day. You take two lefts?
Yes.
2 lefts instead of a left and a right?
Lefts.
Lefts taste better, or?
Yeah.
What's different about them?
Sweeter. They're sweeter.
They're sweeter.
Way sweeter.
All right, well, that's the end of our questions for today. Emerson, thanks for being with us.
No problem. I'd do it anytime again.
Catch us this Friday. We're going to interview a new player. I believe we're doing a volleyball player on Friday. I don't know off the top of my head which one, but catch us again on Friday and continue to follow us throughout the year as we interview our athletes here on Georgetown's Most Wanted.